Okay, hello everybody, Soren here. This is the start of my picking on Jay. He keeps talking about me messing with him on food. And how should I say it? This is part of the initial. This is just a chuck roast. I've done this with the London broil. This is part of what I'm prepping for Saturday. What I'm going to do first is I'm cutting it in half. This is mostly froze, and that's on purpose, because I'm going to be slicing it thinly. Damn, I usually don't have this much trouble. Wish I was kidding. But yeah, basically when I'm done, this is going to be all strips of beef. Which, when you see what's done with it tomorrow, you understand. This is a lot of work, a lot of physical labor. Only reason I'm doing this is because I am going to be cooking it tomorrow, not today. I'm debating which way I want to start cutting this down. Doesn't matter. Well, smaller chunks are just going to disintegrate and become more flavorful the rest anyway, so it's not really a loss. It's just a lot of work to do. And I'll be doing it as a little bit of a highlight reel sort of thing. I'm not probably going to, well, I could put up the whole process of this, but it's still a lot of work. I'm trying to get about, I'd say, between half and quarter-inch thickness. I'm basically trying to make strips of beef, which I could do at the whole length. It's just a lot easier to cut when you've already cut the thing in half, especially with this tiny cutting board. I need to get a bigger one sometime for meat. This is the only one I trust, so it's what it is. And I noticed I just got a message notice on a random game, so. But what I'm going to be doing is this is getting cut in half. Which that looks pretty big, but when it cooks down, that's going to be bite size for thickness for biting through. It'll be delicious. Because what will be happening with this meat, and I'll say that now, is it's going to be simmering in a garlic salt blend I use for a couple hours, which gets it nice, pretty much until it's tender. This is going to be lunch for tomorrow. Is what it's going to be. And I might as well say it. What I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be making kind of a rolled quesadilla. I'm sure there's a term for it. I'm just not familiar with it. This is just the first step of the prep because it's a lot easier to do this cutting with it partially froze rather than thawed. Makes it a lot easier to handle. And what it allows me to do is, like that tiny chunk, I'm just throwing it in there. It ain't worth the fret. Like I said, it's a lot of manual labor, and I'm sorry to say, very good for upper body strength when you're doing this regularly. You just got to be very careful with the blade you're using not to cut your fingers. And truthfully, the fact I have only had naps today, this is probably not the best day to do this, but for when I want to have it, I need to get prep done today. Some of this is more thawed than I like it for cutting, but it'll be fine. Like I said, it'll all cook good. It always does. And I've done it from thawed too. It's just a lot harder work. And I've used cooking shears to do this too when it was a narrower piece at the start. But when you're dealing with a chunk of meat like that, that's not really an option for using cooking shears. You're just going to destroy the shears. So I'm just going to bring this over here. I'm going to Cut this in half quick. And what I'm going to be doing now, this goes into preference. I try to keep a little bit of the fat because there's a lot of flavor there. But if I have a situation like that where it starts peeling off it, I'm not going to fight it. I'm going to leave the fat. It's just a little easier in the final handling. So alright. Again, sometimes it's a little awkward, but when you look at it in the long run, this is going to be so much leaner, and I don't even care if I'm cutting the same angle every time because different lengths aren't going to matter once I put it into the rolls, and I've actually cubed it before too, and it turned out pretty good. It's just the strips are a little simpler. I just got a little bit of grizzle at the bottom. Well, not really grizzle, it's fat, I guess, but it's not wanting to come off it easy, so I'm trimming it off. And the point is, the idea of all this is I throw this on, it'll be simmering. The downside is it smells outstanding. Of course, if you're not into the garlic salt, you could use a different seasoning. I love my garlic, but I guess that's probably the reason I don't like playing vampires. Because, yeah, I just pretty much took off all that fat. There's barely a gram of meat left there. A little bit of fat there still. I'm debating. Let's cut it in half, see what I have there. See if I can save some of this a little organized here. Alright. But again, even those little chunks like that, it'll cook down and become some gorgeous flavor. This is why it does not bother me at all when it turns out like that. It's fun, it's cool. It tastes outstanding in the end. It's just a patience game. The rough part is for wanting to do this for lunch, I'm actually going to be getting it on the simmer about 9 o'clock. Because I know it'll take 2-3 hours to simmer it into the condition I want. Now I've done that in both a skillet and a proper cooking pot before. Doesn't matter. What I'm going to be doing today, because it's going to be a thawed, I'm not going to be using a pot because I don't need the lid. Because the skillet I want to use this time to help get it, well, it also goes into your preferences. If you like a little more caramelized on your meat, you really need to use like a bigger skillet. But if you just want to cook the meat and not worry about that as much, like a little stew pot or a pot like you'd use for doing mashed potatoes or something would be fine for boiling up the potatoes. That sort of pot would be perfectly normal. Like a 2-3 quart pot works fine. I've done that before. Now on the other hand, if you have a cast iron skillet, which I won't be using this time, it turns out pretty dang good with that too. But what I'm looking at is, like right there, that's all fat. That's coming right off. There's no point in leaving it. There'll still be enough fat in the meat and to the sides. Nice part is, with the way I'm doing this, I won't have to add any oil. I may, depending on how it goes, I may have to add water to the simmer. But honestly, that's some yummy shit right there. And I ain't playing. But this is the main course, what I'll be recording pretty much real time with Crimson helping me record. I'll be a handheld record, is going to be a type of cookie. And I'll make sure the recipe for that's in the description tomorrow. So hopefully everybody enjoyed watching me prep. Jay, this is just a start. And for the record, that's enough for 3 of those roll things I do. Trust me, I know I can almost make it into 4 depending on the size shells. I used a big 10-inch tortilla shells, so. But hopefully you enjoyed watching. Bye-bye.